Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time I'm returning to a subject I'm well qualified in, the management of herbs and spices with Weedcraft Inc. This game was released on Steam by Devolver Digital and on PlayStation by Klabater, a Polish studio who released the space construction game Orbit Industries, which I've previously reviewed. Weedcraft is a mix of tycoon management, strategy game, and cookie clicker. The game tackles the controversial subject of the herb, a substance with a long and divisive history, as both a medicinal remedy as well as a less than legal recreational refreshment. If you haven't noticed, I have a soft spot for games that step outside the realm of political correctness. The nature of this game resulted in a lot of backlash from gaming journalists, and severely limited the visibility of the game. In fact, I only found it due to being contacted by the developer. I wanted to cover this game because firstly, it's a very interesting take on a controversial subject, which avoids heavy-handed preaching to the player. And secondly, it's a very solid tycoon game in its own right, allowing you to exercise your green thumb. Weedcraft Inc. has a campaign with 3 episodes, each with their own characters and focus. The first episode serves as an introduction and follows a university student forced to drop out after the sudden death of his father from a terminal illness. After finding out your brother was growing the devil's lettuce in order to provide your father pain relief, you join forces with him to expand the business. The second scenario features an ex-convict freshly released from prison. Despite his best efforts to stay on the straight and narrow, he's forced back down the criminal path, but turns things around by creating a multi-million-dollar chronic corporation. This campaign is more advanced, focusing on the financial aspect of the game. The third episode focuses on a family of Buddha farmers, showing their efforts to keep their farm running whilst avoiding the law. Once you complete the campaign, the developers implemented a Sandbox Mode, where you can create your own empire from scratch. Regardless of your choice, each campaign is broken into 3 phases: growing and cultivating your product, sales and distribution, and finally product and property management, where you'll both purchase and manage properties and improve your product through research and experimentation. The growing phase is handled like a clicker game, with you managing each cabbage by watering and carefully trimming it to ensure maximum quality and growth. I felt this was a missed opportunity, with the growing reduced to simply clicking the products in the right sequence. Sales and distribution was more interesting, where you need to carefully select the selling location along with the desired demographic and the selling price. Different clients prefer different types of asparagus strains, so you need to understand the market, growing the right amount of each product to meet demand, and looking for new demographics to sell at for a better price. However, my favourite aspect of the game was the management area. You'll need to manage each property that you purchase, deciding whether to focus using them for farming, sales, or research, while ensuring they attract the least possible attention from the authorities. Purchasing equipment to hide the side effects of your farming, setting up false businesses to make your sales appear legal. As your business expands, you'll be able to manage your operation from a higher level, via distribution and research, hiring a network of employees to manage your farming and sales, and experimenting on optimizing your crops by using better materials and new strains. Finally, you can make your business legit by getting involved in changing the law to allow medicinal use of the ganja. Needless to say, Weedcraft is not a game that will appeal to everyone. It deals with a controversial subject in what I feel is a fairly neutral way. It starts off slow, with the player forced to complete repetitive tasks to earn enough money to scrape by, but the game really shines once you get into the late campaign. Between purchasing and managing buildings, directing my army of employees, and researching the best farming methods, I started sympathising with some of my character's motivations, which is the last thing I expected. Honestly, I was surprised to find this a level of depth in a game about selling the stickiest of icky. And I hope this video encourages people to try this game instead of disregarding it based on first impressions. Just be aware, at the time of review the game is not yet available on the PlayStation Store, at least in Australia, as a developer kindly provided me a review copy. So you might have to wait a while to get your hands on this homegrown goodness. I hope you enjoyed this review of Weedcraft, and if you did, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe, as it really helps the channel. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.